Hey, welcome to Getting to Know You. What is that? That's a video series that we're doing with our contributing authors for the Win the Wellness War, which is the second book. We Are Responsible. It's the second book of the All Things Wellness book series. Book one came out last year, The Fourfold Formula. You can find it on Amazon. This is book two, and it will be out on Flag Day, which makes a lot of sense. The reason that we did this book called WAR, the acronym is WAR, is that we really feel we're in a place in society right now, and this is in general in life, to take responsibility for your health, your wellness, your lifestyle, whether you want to keep your profession, whether you want to move to Costa Rica. Take responsibility, because ultimately you have that ability. If you wanted to quit your job right now, you honestly could, and you'd figure it out. And I wanted to introduce to you not only the authors in the story teasers that we did, where they read a little bit of their story that will be published in this compilation book that Dr. Marcus Wettstein and I are writing. So it's not only to just tease you with their stories, but this video series, which you can find on my All Things Wellness Media YouTube or my website at allthingswellness.com, is for you to get to know them, but also for them to say, hey, this is what I need from you. So for instance, if we have authors that are lawyers or virtual assistants or coaches or physicians, or even moms at home or recovering addicts, whatever they are, what services or things that they bring, a passion, their message that they're trying to get out there, let you know what they can bring to the table, but also for you to reach out to them and say, hey, you said you want to speak? Let's go ahead. I've got an opportunity, or I want somebody to open for me, or I know somebody at TED Talk. And that's how we build relationships. That's how we build a sense of community. That's how we're going to change and save the world, is together through our stories, through being transparent and authentic to who and what we are, and who and what and where we want to go, if we know, and if we don't, being willing to lean on others and create a tribe. And this all sounds woohoo, woohoo, but I'm telling you, relationships are where it's at. We were meant to share our lives with other living, breathing things. There are a few things you need in life: food, clothes on your back, roof over your head, and a sense of belonging and feeling loved. So that's what this video series is for them to share with you, and you get to know them. But also, if you guys can connect and do other things to change and save the world, oh my gosh, I can't wait to sit back and watch everybody connect with each other. So stay tuned, and let's go check out what these guys have to say to you. Hey, you guys, these are two of my I always say my favorite authors. These are two of my favorite authors. So I have Mark Reid here. So I want to read and get you kind of caught up on who this guy is. He's super cool dude, way over there in Japan. It's actually morning for him. So let's talk all about who Mark is. All right. Mark is an independent thinker you have independent thinkers on your Zen Sandwich podcast. That's so cool. He has an MA from Florida State University in philosophy and religious studies, and graduated from Syracuse University of Law. He's an attorney, professor, washi, paper maker. Did I say that right?
Sure.
Okay, good. Mark is also an award-winning contributor for BizCat 360. Yay!
So is JoAnna, by the way, but go ahead.
We got double.
Yeah, we got the same. Yeah, same award. Actually.
I'm just going to use the same biography, except JoAnna Baanana.
I'm not an attorney.
Is that right?
Don't practice law.
She's a mother of two little humans. I love that you say that. A marketer, an insatiable learner, writer, avid reader. She's so grateful to work at O'Brien Communications. I've never seen that before in a bio. I'm so grateful. Where she has learned the restorative craft of writing. And you're also a self-professed survivor. I love that. All right, you guys, before we get started, let me just say that these two authors' super transparent stories are coming up in the Win the Wellness War compilation book, which is book two of the All Things Wellness series. And I've been releasing some of the titles. You guys, what? And so here today, this personal chat is really, I want to find out some specifics on, what do you do? Might somebody reach out and go, gosh, I think Mark and I would connect and we should start a support group? Or JoAnna is like, oh, girl, join. I love to do marketing. Can I help you with the 501c3? We never know. So I like to do these because I've bragged ridiculously about how we try to bring the authors together to get to know each other, not just throw a book together, a book. Mark, what's your experience been? I know you're a writer. In regards to, we start writing, and then by the time, I'm not saying your age,
I don't
50,
mind.
60, 70, whatever we are, 40, all of a sudden we're like, I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to get my journal out there, right, JoAnna? So what do you do right now? And have you always been a writer?
Well, if you define being a writer as someone who writes just for the kicks, then yes. Because, people write when they're in school because they've got an essay due on Friday. But, if you write for personal pleasure or whatever, then if you call that a writer, yeah, I've been a writer all my life. What I do now for money is my wife and I have a washi, which is traditional Japanese paper. We make paper handmade the same way they've done it for over 1,000 years. And so we do that. That's the family business. I'm also a podcaster. It doesn't pay the mortgage, but it brings in a little bit of revenue. And then once a week, I still teach English, but I teach a senior citizen class. I have a student who's 87 years old. He's actually a Zen monk. So what do you got to think, like, what does an 87-year-old guy want to learn English for? But he does it for the journey, he's not trying to become a UN translator. He just enjoys hanging out.
Well, and they say that we only need a few things in life, right? A roof over our head, clothes on our back, food in our mouth, but connection,
Yeah,
sense of
absolutely.
belonging and love. And just being there and sharing, and you guys learning from him and him learning from you.
Yeah. But
JoAnna?
that brings in a little revenue too. It's sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No.
There.
Oh my gosh, no, of course. We're
But
off the road here.
yeah, but I sort of market it as Mark's English Cafe. So instead of it being a class, they come over to my home and we sit around. There's about 5 of them, and we have like cake and coffee, and we just chat in English. So that's it.
I want to be in your group. I want to be over there.
It's fun. Hey, I'll pencil you in for Friday. Just make it over to
I'll be
Yamaguchi.
right there. How many hour flight is that?
30. With the layovers usually. Yeah. It could be, you can go direct from Atlanta to Tokyo in 17, but usually if you're not coming from a major international hub, like when I go from Birmingham, I would go like Birmingham to Dallas, and I'd have like a 3-hour layover, and then
Right.
Tokyo, and then Tokyo to Ube, where I am now. It's 30 something hours.
It's a lot. Yeah. Oh my gosh. To drive halfway across America for that.
Right.
JoAnna, what do you do, love?
So work-wise, I work O'Brien Communications Group with Mark O'Brien, which if anyone's a fan of Biz Catalyst, they likely know who that lovely man is. I originally I have a finance degree from Rutgers University. So I was always very left-brained, which is why I say I'm grateful to work here, because I came in to be very type A and keep Mark organized, which I do still do. But when I came on board, he was like, oh, you're such a great writer. I'm like, I am not a writer. And I had this huge thing with him, and he, in time, we've been together almost 12 years. So in time, we were able to kind of home in on finding my voice, and it was all just very natural. It wasn't very, there was no strategic goals or any like checklist that we were doing. I just wrote a weekly blog, and he would edit it, and we would talk about it. And I learned how to write because of him, and writing changed my life without a doubt. So I actually just printed yesterday my memoir on paper to hand the manuscript over to the editor. So that felt really, really good. So I've written my first solo book, I guess, as well. And who knows, it could take a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows how long publication can go. But I'm on the journey for doing that as well, which is exciting. In my spare time, I am a mom. I also, I'm very passionate domestic violence advocate. I volunteer for an advisory board for the Youth and Family Services at in my town. And I would love in the next 10 years to get into politics. I just have to wait until my kids are a little bit older, because it's a very big time demand. So that's just something that is an aspiration of mine, that eventually I would love to be a senator or something like that.
This is why we do this. Like, are you kidding me right now? right? We can't write enough stories to tell everybody all of our stories. And it's like I keep saying this mission that I have till death do I part, and I run out of unicorns to ride. That's really what I want to just do, is bring people together and just, because that's what changes lives, are these stories, just chit chat. And it's like podcasting, and you guys know that, where you get on, but it's, if you act like it's just like, hey, and have some coffee, that's the real deal. And that's what I think people are, it's infectious when we talk like that. Where is your void? And I always ask this question because the void, I mean, if we really think about how somebody could help you, because as writers are doing media, we always think about, you know, when we're asking the authors, like, tell them all about you and what you've done, right? Our personal resume, our professional resume. But you guys, what would you say? Do you not like marketing, not like cold calls, need somebody for self-care? Where's your void, Mark? Where could you use some help? Magic wand.
That's a good question. I mean, I sort of interpret that question as like, what do I not like doing about
Oh,
the
that can be it.
podcast?
That to me. Yeah. Tell me that. What do you not like?
I don't know. Editing is not my favorite part of the process. You know, an editor would be nice. Marketing though, probably if I've got to just pinpoint one, I'm probably lousy at marketing. I mean, I do okay on LinkedIn and other social media, but it's hard to stand out in the podcasting world because everybody has a podcast. And so it's like, which one do you listen to? Well, it's almost like when you go down to the cereal aisle in a grocery store and there's 400 cereals to choose from. And so you stand there for 30 minutes trying to choose one cereal, and then you just walk out of the aisle and you didn't choose any because it just, the choices were so overwhelming. So it's kind of like that with podcasts. So it's hard for me if I don't have the budget that Joe Rogan has or NPR, like an NPR professionally done podcast. It's hard to get an indie podcast out there and promoted well. So marketing.
I love that. I love it. And it's become very niche. So I remember the day you guys do when we had primary care physicians, you had your family medical doctor, and he did everything. And years ago when I was running my co-author, Marcus Vetstein, I was working on his office as an endocrinologist. That was really when, about 20 years ago, where orthopedists were like, I'm a knee doctor. I'm a
Right.
shoulder. Like, it became so narrow that the podcasts now are like, I do moms. You know, those of us who are indie, who have a wide range of, you know, you almost have to get kind of your own following. Marketing. Okay, that's me, Mark. Marketing.
All right.
Calls. Ew.
We'll talk.
JoAnna. No, I'm saying I hate it.
Oh, you hate it. I
And
thought you said
hate
that
it.
that's your thing. And I was like, oh, good. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm in marketing as well. So I've never marketed a podcast before, but I would love to talk to you offline and kind of delve into some ideas. You could pick my brain.
I think
I would say my void.
Go ahead.
I would say my voids, I'll give you two. I'll give you a professional void and a personal void. My professional void would be proofreading. I'm an awful proofreader. We have clients and we'll send them something and it's the wrong there. And I'm like, oh, I should have seen that. And then it prints somewhere and then you got to pay for it to print again. And then sometimes the client catches it, which is also equally as like gut punch, because you're like, oh, thanks for noticing that. Totally should have caught it. So I despise that work world. Personal life, laundry. I don't like folding it. I like washing it, but I have clean laundry just sitting everywhere, getting wrinkled at any time. So if someone would come do my laundry and proofread for my clients, I think I'd be pretty.
Yeah, I was thinking Mark might say that. I was wondering if you were going to get like funny haha with that too.
Well, I just, it's funny that she did say that because I just did a like solo. I do like some or most of my podcasts are interviews, but then I also do these like little short versions that are just solos. And then one of the ones I just recently did, I talked about laundry being the one chore I disdain. So, but I talked about how to get through that, how to not hate it so much.
We procrastinate. What do they say? If you're disorganized in one area of your life, you're typically disorganized in every area if you at certain levels, right? Okay, so what's a dream thing? I'm going to give you a magic wand, making this totally up. A year from now, Mark, what do you see yourself or want to be doing if I gave you a wand and it just happens a year from now, summer 2024?
I'm doing it. I'm living the dream.
Oh, I love that. No, seriously.
I mean, I still am ambitious. I still have stuff I want to do. I still got a bucket list that gets longer, not shorter. I cross stuff off and 2 more items go on it. But, I always want to travel, but, I'm living the dream. I don't know. I love what I do.
I love it. Did you create that though? You've had quite a freaking journey. I mean, you're really though, your academic journey, your geographic journey. Did you just know where you were headed or it just fell into
No,
place by your path? Yeah.
no. I mean, that's sort of the Zen thing. You kind of go with the flow and see where the path leads you.
Yeah.
Go where the wind directs you. But I mean, uh, but you still make choices and you still,
Sure.
you do direct your own path and go with the flow. It's kind of a 50-50 thing sort of thing.
I
But
love
yeah, I mean, I always had an interest in Japan and I've been here a couple of times, and then I hit my mid 40s. I know we weren't going to discuss my age,
Oh,
but
no, you can.
whatever.
I
It's out
can.
there.
I didn't want to do it for you.
uh, and so, it was midlife crisis time, but I didn't have a crisis. I didn't buy a sports car or anything. I had a midlife enlightenment. I just, thought like, well, why don't I just go live the rest of my life in Japan? Why not? So here I am.
Absolutely. I wish, yeah, teach it and preach it.
I'm trying.
We're
I got to market
yeah,
it.
you are. Yes, we're gonna mic drop on that. Okay, magic wand's coming to you, girl. You'd bounce right into the Senate, wouldn't you? Like you've already said that.
I mean, I would love to do that, but I feel like a year from now, my kids are too little. So I need to know that sometimes when you're in politics, you have to be there till 1 o'clock in the morning doing your thing because someone filibustered. And I get that. But right now, my kids are way more important than political ambition. So they would obviously always come first. But I would say the last 4 years of my life have been so self-actualizing and just understanding who I am as a person and loving myself and kind of getting to a different place, which I never really understood before. So I would just want to continue on this journey. If I looked back to last summer and where I was and this summer to where I was, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen by next summer. I don't think there's anything particular I would choose, but I can't wait to see where I'm at.
Can I ask a question?
That's amazing. Yes, of course. Go ahead.
So JoAnna, I know that you changed your last name. I don't know if you legally did it, but it was JoAnna Bennett, right? And then now it's JoAnna Baanana, but with an extra A. So is it like Baanana or?
Yeah,
Okay. So would you, if you run for the Senate, are you going to run? Are you going to be Senator Baanana?
Honestly, potentially, because I love it. But when I wrote my book, I wanted to use a pen name.
Right.
So I got my DBA and I went through the proper channels to legally be able to use JoAnna Baanana. So I am JoAnna Baanana. And
Nice.
I like it because it's catchy for writing.
Mhm.
It also keeps things more anonymous. So people can't come after me for things that I've said. And it just makes things much easier for the genre that I have written, I guess. And then I just always was JoAnna Baanana on Facebook and Instagram. That's a nickname, clearly, because it rolls off the tongue. So why not write something under that name? Why create some bogus name like Lynn Andrews?
I'd vote for you. I think you'd make C-SPAN a lot more interesting. I yield my time to Senator Baanana.
Oh man.
And it'll get votes. It's good marketing. I even own JoAnnaBaanana.com. So
wow, nice.
I learn something every single day. This is really about me sitting here, just sitting back and hitting record so you guys can chit chat. All right. I want to ask a couple more questions. Mark, as far as writing goes, I don't know if you know that I use you as an example in a lot of my videos. What? Thought you'd call me because you'd be listening, but no. Okay. So the reason I do, I have two people that each book that I do, I always have some people that just stick out for whatever reason. One of the authors that sticks out is Anita, and Anita kept saying to me, my life is too vanilla. I don't like, what would I write about was kind of her lane. And I was just like, then talk to us about how vanilla it is. Like that's
right.
darn good that you can find that in your life. And, she's writing in the book, but you really stick out because we'd done several of the stories already for the book. And then you came in as the frosting on the cupcake group. And it was really sweet because you came at me and you said, it's still my messenger. And you said something along the lines of like, will I fit? Like, what I'm kind of talking about, it seems like your book is like this area. And I said, the coolest thing about it is everybody fits everywhere. I mean, when you're talking about heart, spirit, mind, and body, everybody's going to fit everywhere. And if you're using your own voice, it doesn't matter. I just thought that I think it's important that people understand that because of this reason. I think we judge that with what we have to say, it fits or it doesn't fit. And I really do, because if it's an open field and I say, come play, then come play. And you have so much paint. And Anita says she's vanilla. I mean, really, right? So I just want to, first of all, thank you for being that over observant, but I do use you as an example. Like,
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'd noticed that a lot of the stories that I had access to initially, they revolved around like a traumatic event, and those are always touching, moving stories. And then my story, the one that I wanted to tell, it wasn't so much about a singular event that was a catalyst that changed me forever. It was like kind of an evolutionary story, and so I didn't know if it worked.
You know, it worked, dude. Was there any other reason that you didn't, honestly, any other reason that you were like, hey, I don't know if I want to do this, so it just doesn't seem like it worked? Or did you sincerely think it wasn't a fit?
No, that it was
Really?
seriously, I had looked at the other stories and I thought, I need to tell a story about getting beat up or a death or something. I need,
Right.
and I
Yeah,
mean, those are great stories. Those are fascinating. And I didn't have like, a roller coaster moment that just, or a free fall moment that changed the world. It was really like how I went from being a Southern Baptist in Alabama to a Buddhist in Japan. And that's not a one-time event. That's like a long time thing.
right. But if you think about driving we get to have all these things in our library, all these stories. So we kind of know what we have. And you really did bring to light that even though sometimes when I talk about what we do, I give examples that are probably sound catastrophic. That's probably what you got your hands on. Like if you've been divorced or bankruptcy, or, you've had molestation or traumatic events or blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But, to add to that it doesn't have to be, I guess, is I got to do some other little phrase better on that.
The thing is, I've had disastrous relationships and I have been beat up before. So I could have told those stories, but I was more interested. My heart was more in the story that I told.
It's a fit, right, JoAnna? You guys know that you're both writers. It's so like, I love your stories. I really do. These stories in this book, that's why I'm teasing these titles, you guys. This book, oh my gosh, the authors are so amazing. And you guys, the story content, the titles are just blessing. It's just literally blessing.
So I had a quote today that popped up, and I think it fits like today, just randomly, and I think it fits for this conversation. So can I share it?
100. Yes.
Okay. So it's written by a guy named Jason Reynolds. He was on Brene Brown's podcast. And he's just amazing. He wrote a book called I Ain't Burned All the Bright, I think was what it was called. The most recent one I read. But it says, I tell people all the time, one of the most beautiful paradoxes to me is writing. And the reason why is because in order to do it, one has to live in an extraordinary place of humility and the progress of making something that perhaps might be shared with the world. On the flip side, the mere notion that someone wants to make something that might be shared with the world is rooted in ego.
Absolutely.
I just love that.
Yeah. I love that. That's good. All right, you guys, I want you to tell people where they can find you for a couple of reasons. Number one, you might be able to help them. You might be able to direct them to either write themselves or whatever, volunteer, whatever it is. So where can people find you, Mark, the easiest? And I'll put it up on the screen as well.
Sure. Well, go to zensandwich.com if you want to listen to the podcast, or if you like podcasts in other places, Apple, Google Podcasts, whatever, just type in Zen Sandwich. It's I don't really have any competitors for that name, so I'm there. And if you want to contact me directly, it's also easy, zensandwich@gmail.com. So if you want to, be on the show or something like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And hopefully if you guys are listening, that you'll reach out to Mark and help him market.
Yes.
Yay. All right, JoAnna, Baanana, tell everybody how they can find.
So my link tree would probably be the easiest. So linktr.ee/JoAnna_banana with 2 A's.
She shows up with her link tree and she shows up with a quote to read. I mean, she's got the job. All right, you guys, make sure in the comment section that you let them know how they can find you as well. And we will chat really soon, you guys. It's exciting. The book comes out on June 14th, Flag Day, which is pertinent to Win the Wellness War.
Woohoo, Flag Day.
Right on Flag Day. Yay. Okay.
I've never been so excited about Flag Day.
I love all your comments. I really do. You make me laugh. I watch every comment that you make on whatever I post. It's funny. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you really soon.